Have you ever suddenly woken up at 3 a.m., while everything around you is completely silent? Lying there, eyes wide open staring at the ceiling, wondering, why am I awake at this hour? Don't worry, you're not alone. In fact, many older adults are experiencing the same thing. And it's not simply because of age. In today's video, we're going to explore 5 deep reasons behind those early morning wake-ups, reasons that may reveal more than you think about your health, emotions, and the quiet changes happening inside your body. These are not shallow explanations, but a combination of science, life experience, and profound understanding of the aging process. If you've ever lain awake in the middle of the night wondering what's going on with yourself, then this video is made for you. Stay until the end, because what you're about to discover could help you not only sleep better, but also connect more deeply with your body and your life's journey. Before we begin, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so we can continue walking this journey together, caring for our health, listening to our bodies, and living better every day. Now let's get started right away. Number 1, the body produces less melatonin with age. One of the most common reasons many older adults wake up around 2 to 3 a.m. is the natural decline in melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep in the body. Melatonin is mainly produced by the brain in the evening, when surrounding light begins to fade. It helps the body recognize that it's time to rest, slowing the heart rate, lowering body temperature, and putting us into a sleepy state. However, as we pass middle age, especially after 60, the amount of melatonin our body produces begins to decrease, and it happens very quietly. As a result, older adults often have difficulty maintaining sleep throughout the night, are more likely to wake up in the middle, and find it hard to fall back asleep, even when the body is still tired. Imagine Uncle Jack, a 70-year-old man who retired a few years ago. He used to sleep very well, never needed an alarm clock and could still wake up on time every morning. But over the past year, he often wakes up at 3 a.m., eyes wide open, unable to fall back asleep. At first, he thought it was because he was overthinking, but after seeing a doctor and talking it through, he found out that this is a very normal phenomenon with aging, due to the body producing less melatonin. After that, he stopped blaming himself and began adjusting his habits. He changed the lighting in his bedroom, reduced screen time before bed, and started taking light 30-minute walks before bedtime. As a result, his sleep noticeably improved after just a few weeks of applying these changes. Uncle Jack's story is not uncommon. In fact, millions of older adults are going through the same thing without knowing the real reason. Understanding how our bodies are changing not only helps us stay calm, but also allows us to proactively find gentle and effective ways to improve our sleep. Reason 2, the biological clock shifts, sleep comes earlier and shortens over time. As we age, the body changes not only physically but also in terms of our internal biological clock, which begins to run on a different rhythm. This is why many older adults feel sleepy earlier in the evening and wake up earlier the next morning, often around 3 a.m., even when it's still completely dark outside. This happens because the sleep cycle, especially the deep sleep phase, where the body recovers, tends to shorten over time. When we're younger, we usually experience deeper and longer sleep during the early hours of the night. But with age, this phase shortens, and the brain starts to finish its task earlier, causing us to wake up even if it's only 3 or 4 a.m. Let's meet Ms. Helen, a retired teacher, 68 years old. She shared that lately, around 8 p.m., her eyes start to get heavy. She doesn't try to sleep, but her body seems to automatically shift into night mode. Around 3 a.m., she wakes up in silence, feeling clear-headed and full of energy, even though the sun hasn't risen yet. At first, she was worried, thinking she had a sleep disorder. But after some research, she realized this is a very normal sign of the body's biological clock shifting with age. There's nothing wrong with this, but it can become inconvenient if your personal or family schedule doesn't align. For Ms. Helen, once she understood what was happening, she started trying a few small adjustments, turning off the lights early but not going to bed immediately, spending time reading or listening to soft music, keeping warm lighting in the room at night, and maintaining social interaction late in the day, like chatting with her grandchild or calling an old friend. These small signals send a message to her body: it's not bedtime yet. Gradually, her sleep time shifted later, helping her sleep through the night without waking up in the middle like before. Changes in the sleep cycle don't just affect when we fall asleep, but also the quality of rest. Less deep sleep means you may feel more tired, even if you've slept for enough hours. Additionally, a quiet living environment, like after retirement, without a fixed work schedule or a strict routine, makes the biological clock even more likely to slide toward an earlier rhythm. A lack of environmental signals such as daylight, social noise, or a work schedule can also throw off the cycle. However, this isn't a bad thing. On the contrary, if understood well, you can completely adjust your lifestyle to harmonize with your body. Think of it as a new stage in the journey of befriending yourself, where you listen more deeply to your body, gently rearrange your routine, and slow down to fully experience each moment. And if you wake up at 3 a.m., don't worry. It might just be your body's way of saying, your sleep has done its job, now it's time to be more awake with yourself. You're still here, thank you so much. That shows you're truly caring about your health and the quality of your life. Leave the number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with this video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is a great time to do so. A simple click from you is a big motivation for us to keep sharing useful, sincere, and inspiring information made just for you. Now, let's move on to reason number 3. Silent habits that reprogram your sleep. Have you ever wondered why you often wake up around 3 a.m., even though you're not anxious or having nightmares? You're not in pain, and there's no noise, yet you open your eyes in the middle of the night, fully awake and unable to fall back asleep. If this happens frequently, the reason might not be a medical issue, but rather some very familiar daily habits of yours. As we age, life begins to slow down. We're no longer rushing to get to work early in the morning, no longer buried in a packed schedule of meetings, errands, or driving grandchildren around. Life becomes calmer and more relaxed, and that's a beautiful thing. But this quietness, if not actively managed, can disrupt the internal biological clock. When you're relaxed and free of burdens like that, you tend to just stay around the house. You start having dinner earlier, unwinding earlier, and doing fewer activities in the evening. There's nothing wrong with any of this, but together, they send a series of signals to your brain saying, it's time to rest. And if this happens day after day, your body will start going to sleep earlier without you even telling it to. As a result, your wake-up time gets pushed earlier, often around 3 or 4 a.m., cutting your sleep short without you even realizing it. The story of Ms. Serena, 70 years old, living with her husband in a peaceful countryside home, is a gentle and familiar example. Since her children got married and moved out, the house has been just the two of them. She started having dinner earlier, even before it got dark. Then she'd watch a bit of TV and doze off on the sofa without realizing it. By the time she officially went to bed, it was only around 8:30 p.m. Everything seemed perfectly normal, nothing seemed wrong, until she started waking up at 3 a.m., completely alert, and no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't fall back asleep. Meanwhile, it was still pitch dark outside. At first, she thought she was suffering from age-related insomnia. But after paying closer attention, she realized the problem wasn't an illness, it was her lifestyle rhythm. Ms. Serena began to make some adjustments, pushing dinner later, taking a walk around the garden at the end of the day, avoiding dozing off after meals, keeping the house well lit in the evening, and adding a light snack, like a warm glass of milk, before bedtime. These were very gentle changes, but enough to push her sleep schedule later, helping her sleep more deeply and wake up closer to the normal morning hours. Meal timing also strongly affects your sleep, especially when you eat dinner too early and leave your stomach empty until morning. Blood sugar levels can slightly drop during the night, causing the body to wake up even if you don't feel hungry. On top of that, caffeine, even just a cup of green tea in the early afternoon, can linger in the bloodstream longer in older adults, since metabolism slows down, making sleep lighter and more easily disrupted. Most importantly, our bodies are highly sensitive to rhythm and familiar signals. Every action you repeat daily, from mealtime, rest time, lighting, and sounds in the house, is like a biological clock hand silently reprogramming you. And if you don't actively send clear signals, the body will choose what it thinks is the right timing, even if that doesn't match what you actually want. The good news is, you can adjust this. No need for big changes, just being more mindful in arranging your evening routine can gradually bring your body back to a deep, peaceful, and less interrupted sleep cycle. The reason we're about to reveal may truly surprise you. Stay with us and comment the number 3 below so we know you're still following along. Number 4, physical discomfort and silent health interruptions wake you in the night. As we enter old age, the body is no longer as quiet as it used to be. It starts sending out signals, sometimes very subtle, but enough to wake you in the middle of the night. And this is a common reason why many older adults wake up around 3 a.m. without knowing why: physical discomfort or health-related interruptions. It doesn't have to be a sharp pain. Sometimes it's just a restless feeling, mild numbness in the limbs, backaches, dry mouth, discomfort from having to urinate multiple times during the night, or itchy skin due to dryness or weather changes. For younger people, these sensations might go unnoticed during sleep. But for older adults, whose sleep is lighter and more fragile, they can easily become reasons for waking up. Many people don't realize that the body is always talking to us, it's just a matter of whether we're listening. A slight joint ache. A swing in blood pressure when the seasons change. A sigh from the stomach after a late meal. Or a tightness in the throat when lying down, caused by acid reflux without even realizing it. Any of these could be why you're waking up at 3 a.m. The important thing is, your body isn't trying to bother you, it's simply trying to tell you something. And the sooner you recognize it, the more gently you can respond to regain deeper sleep, instead of worrying or forcing yourself to sleep through the discomfort. Listen to your body, even to the smallest signals, because sometimes, just a few simple changes like adjusting your sleeping position, adding back support, or limiting fluids after 7 p.m. can be the key to helping you sleep more fully through the night. Let's move on to the 5th reason. When the soul wakes before the sleep ends. There are nights when the clock strikes exactly 3 a.m., and you suddenly wake up. Not because of noise, not because of any obvious pain. You just wake up. In that still silence, while the whole world is fast asleep, something inside you refuses to rest. At this age, sometimes it's not your body that wakes up, it's your soul. Throughout life, we get swept up in the busy rhythm of living, raising children, working, pushing through worries. Layers of emotions, joy, sadness, hurt, regret, get tucked away in drawers and quietly locked, so we can keep moving forward. But when old age comes, when life slows down and no one expects too much from you anymore, the mind finally has space to begin listening. And it's in that silence, often in the middle of the night, that everything once buried begins to stir again. Old memories, an unfinished conversation, a decision still filled with regret, or a loneliness that never had a name. You don't necessarily feel sad. It's just, a stream of thought flows through you that you can't grasp, only feel, like the sound of water dripping in a quiet room. Many older adults live peacefully during the day, sipping tea, tending plants, chatting with friends, family, and neighbors, some even laugh more than before. But at night, they often wake up around 3 a.m., not because of insomnia, but because their heart wakes them. They often find themselves thinking about everything, loved ones who have passed, something unfinished from their youth, or simply a feeling of not being truly understood. That emotion is not loud. It's not the intense anxiety of youth. It's quieter and deeper, as if a part of their body is gently asking, "Have I lived enough? Is there something I've never said? Does anyone still remember me?" This kind of disrupted sleep can't be treated with a prescription or diagnosed with a test. It belongs to the delicate transformation happening within the soul. Loneliness isn't always painful. Sometimes, it's just a vague emptiness, like the soft glow of a nightlight, like a room that feels a little too spacious when you lie there alone. But just like them, you too can make peace with that moment. Keep a small notebook by your bedside, not to write literature, but to write for yourself. One sentence is enough. Even just a few words, like a way to let your mind release what it's been holding. Write down something you're grateful for that day. Jot a few messages to your loved ones. And then, simply lie back down, more gently this time, and sleep will return, not hurried, but softly, like a hug from within. The truth is, our soul doesn't follow a schedule for sleep. It remembers, it reflects, it longs to be acknowledged, even at 3 a.m. And that's not instability. That's the subtlety of a seasoned soul, rich in emotion and still vibrant within. Let those wakeful moments be part of the journey. Don't rush to blame yourself, and don't rush to fix it. Instead, meet yourself with gentleness. Maybe what you need isn't a perfect night's sleep, but a moment of listening, writing, and reconnecting with the deepest part of who you are. When we began this video together, maybe you were just looking for a simple answer: why do I keep waking up at 3 a.m.? But by now, I hope you've realized that sleep, especially in older age, is no longer a simple thing. It's the result of a delicate harmony between body, emotion, habits, and memory. We've walked through very real and deeply meaningful reasons together. Backhand index pointing right: the decline in melatonin production shifts your sleep rhythm. Backhand index pointing right: changes in daily routine quietly push back both bedtime and wake-up time. Backhand index pointing right: physical discomforts, like mild aches, nighttime urination, or acid reflux, can silently fragment your rest. Backhand index pointing right: and deeper still, the stirrings of the soul, thoughts, memories, and unspoken words, rise to the surface in the stillness of the night. Waking up at 3 a.m., after all, isn't something abnormal, it's something profoundly human. Because at this stage in life, as the world outside grows quieter, the world inside us begins to speak. The experiences, the lessons, the loves, and the losses, they all want to be acknowledged, through every breath of a not yet complete night's sleep. And then you'll see, sometimes waking in the night isn't something to fix, but an opportunity to reconnect with yourself. Maybe it's a time to write a few lines, slow your breathing, listen to some soft music, or simply realize that you are still alive, and living deeply. The beautiful thing is, when you begin to understand what your body and mind are trying to tell you, you're also learning how to love yourself more fully. Not by forcing yourself to sleep soundly, but by staying present with yourself, even in those wakeful moments. Old age isn't just a time to rest. It's a time to truly live in your essence, slower, but deeper. Less noise, but more feeling. And those 3 a.m. awakenings, if you look at them with gentler eyes, will no longer feel like a disturbance, but rather a part of the journey of healing, transformation, and growth, even when you've already lived through most of your life. If you're still listening up to this point, thank you, sincerely. That's the sign of someone who's truly caring for themselves, walking mindfully on the path of life. Leave the word peace or the number 5 in the comments below so I know you're still here, and that we are not alone in the quietest moments of life. And if you found this content truly meaningful, don't forget to click like and subscribe to the channel. So that next time you wake up at 3 a.m., you might find here a familiar voice, a gentle companion, and a feeling of truly being heard. Thank you and see you in the next video.